Welcome back to Have More Babies. Today, we're diving into something that I know is on a lot of your minds if you've recently had a baby.
Hmm.
How do you actually get back into exercise safely, effectively, after giving birth? It can feel, well, pretty challenging.
It absolutely can. Figuring out the when and the what, it's a lot with a recovering body. And let's be honest, a very demanding new schedule.
Exactly. And while, the baby is the main focus, taking care of yourself, your own health, both physical and mental, it's just so crucial.
It really is. And exercise, when you approach it the right way, can be such a powerful part of that self-care toolkit.
Yeah. We've been looking at some really helpful information from Omega Pediatrics on this. They break it down really nicely for new moms wanting to bring movement back into their lives.
Mm-hmm.
And they point out some pretty significant benefits that go beyond just, the physical side.
Oh, yeah. Love what?
Well, things like lowering the risk of postnatal depression, for one, which we really need to talk more about.
That's huge. Absolutely.
And improving sleep quality. I mean, when sleep is so fragmented already.
Anything helps there.
Right. And boosting confidence. Who wouldn't want that? Sign me up.
And from a physiological standpoint, it's interesting too. Exercise is like a natural way to manage stress.
Thought so.
Well, it helps your body process stress hormones. Plus, it supports that whole hormonal rebalancing act that happens after pregnancy and birth. It's a big shift.
Which is massive, isn't it? You're dealing with hormones all over the place. You're probably sleep deprived, and you're caring for this tiny human.
Exactly. So thinking of exercise less as a got a bounce back thing and more as actual support for your overall well-being,
Yeah.
that feels much healthier.
Totally agree. Okay, so let's get practical. The big question.
Yeah.
When can a new mom even, think about starting to exercise again?
Okay, so generally speaking,
Hmm.
if you had a normal vaginal delivery, healthy pregnancy, no major complications, Omega Pediatrics suggests you can actually start fairly soon after birth.
Really? How soon?
Pretty much as soon as you feel genuinely ready for it. The key phrase there is feeling ready. It's not some date on the calendar.
Right. It's so personal. There's all this pressure sometimes to get your body back, but everyone's recovery is just so different.
Precisely. Now, that guidance does change if you had a C-section
Okay.
or if there were any medical complications during the pregnancy or the birth itself.
Right. That makes sense.
In those cases, it's really essential. You absolutely need to talk to your OB/GYN first before starting any kind of exercise program.
So they can give you the green light based on your specific situation.
Exactly. Personalized advice is key there.
Okay, so let's say you've got the okay from your doctor. How do you even start structuring a routine? It feels like it could be overwhelming.
Yeah, it can seem like a lot. Omega Pediatrics recommends aiming for about 150 minutes of moderate intensity exercise per week total.
150 minutes. Okay.
But here's the encouraging part. They really stress that this doesn't have to be like one huge workout session.
Oh, thank goodness. That sounds much less intimidating.
Right. They suggest breaking it down. Maybe 5 30-minute workouts spread through the week,
Okay, that seems manageable.
or even smaller. You could do, say, 3 10-minute walks throughout your day.
Oh, I like that idea. Little bursts.
Exactly. Those little bits of activity really add up, and it makes exercise feel much more achievable when you're juggling everything else.
Okay, so we've got a potential time frame, ideas for breaking it up.
Mm.
What about intensity? How hard should you go? Just jump back into pre-pregnancy stuff?
Generally, no. That's usually not the best idea. The recommendation is definitely to start with very gentle, low-intensity exercises.
Okay. Like dipping your toes in first.
Exactly like that. Think of it as just kind of reconnecting with your body, reintroducing movement gently.
And then you build up.
Then you gradually, progressively build up towards that moderate intensity level.
Right.
Now, for people who were, really active before pregnancy, maybe even during, or athletes, their path might eventually lead back to more vigorous stuff.
Sure.
But even for them, it's still a gradual buildup, not 0 to 60.
And what's the absolute most important rule here?
Listen to your body. Omega Pediatrics is super clear on this. If you feel any pain, any unusual heaviness, discomfort, you stop immediately.
Okay. Stop. Don't push through.
Definitely don't push through. And if those feelings stick around, check in with your doctor or healthcare provider. Always best to be cautious.
That is such vital advice.
Yeah.
It's easy to want to push, but yeah, the postpartum body needs real time to heal.
Which kind of leads us to understanding how different your body might feel postpartum. How does that affect exercise?
Well, what's really key is realizing your own exercise path is shaped by a few things. How you delivered, if there were complications, and just your unique recovery speed.
Right.
There's really no one-size-fits-all approach here.
So comparing yourself to that other new mom on Instagram, probably not helpful.
Not helpful at all. And like we just said, paying really close attention to your body's signals, fatigue, pain, discomfort, those are your best guides for what's okay right now.
I also like that Omega Pediatrics shifts the focus. It's not just about fitting back into old jeans, is it? No, absolutely not. And that's such a healthier mindset. They encourage focusing on overall well-being, your mental health, your energy levels.
Yeah.
Not just a number on the scale or a clothing tag. It's a much more positive and, frankly, sustainable way to think about it.
So in those first weeks, maybe months,
Yeah.
how should you tailor the actual workouts? What kinds of things are good starting points?
The advice is consistent. Start slow. Really gentle activities, short walks, some light stretching. Those are great ways to begin before you even think about more structured exercise.
Okay.
And there should be a real focus on gently rebuilding your core strength and those pelvic floor muscles. They go through a lot during pregnancy and delivery.
Yeah, I've heard so much about how important that core and pelvic floor recovery is.
It's crucial. And that's where things like tailored yoga or specific Pilates routines can be really beneficial. They target those areas safely.
Okay.
Oh, and also incorporating rest. Actual rest periods between sessions are vital for letting your body recover and adapt.
Makes sense. And what about staying motivated? That's tough when you're exhausted.
Totally. Omega Pediatrics suggests setting really small, realistic goals and then celebrating when you hit them. Even tiny victories count.
Yeah. Like, I walked for 10 minutes today.
Exactly. That's a win. They also mention connecting with other new moms, support groups, maybe postpartum exercise classes.
Oh, that community aspect sounds really valuable.
It can be huge for motivation, just knowing you're not alone in it.
Okay, what about people who were doing more intense workouts before, maybe even during pregnancy? When can they think about, ramping things back up?
Right. So the timeline for getting back to high intensity stuff, it really varies a lot.
Depends on the person.
Yeah, Omega Pediatrics points out that a big factor is your activity level before and during pregnancy. Someone who kept up a pretty vigorous routine is likely different from someone who is less active.
Right, if you were running marathons, your body's baseline is different.
Precisely. So for someone who was quite active, had an uncomplicated vaginal delivery, they might be able to start incorporating modified high-intensity stuff around, say, 3 to 4 weeks postpartum.
That actually sounds quite soon, but you emphasize modified. What does that mean?
It means starting with shorter durations, maybe lower impact versions of the exercises, and being extremely attentive to how your body feels, really tuning in.
Okay.
On the other hand, if someone was active before but maybe stopped or cut back a lot during pregnancy, they'd need a much more gradual re-entry, often waiting several weeks post-birth before even starting to scale up intensity.
Got it. So no matter your previous level, what are the key safety checks when thinking about higher intensity?
The core advice stays the same. Go slow, be cautious, even with modifications, be hyper-aware of any pain,
Okay.
any feelings of heaviness or dragging in the pelvic area, or any unusual bleeding. Stop immediately if any of that happens.
Right, don't ignore those signs.
Never ignore them. And, probably most importantly, always talk to your healthcare provider before jumping back into anything high intensity. Make sure your body is actually healed and ready.
Safety first, absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk specifics. What are some of the best moderate intensity exercises Omega Pediatrics recommends for new moms once they're ready for that level?
They highlight several really good ones. First up, brisk walking.
Classic.
Yep. It's a fantastic, gentle start for cardio, and you can easily increase your pace or distance as you feel stronger.
They even mentioned maybe using a front carrier with the baby later on for a bit of resistance.
They did, but with a big asterisk. Make sure your balance and stability feel really solid before you try adding the baby weight.
Good point.
They also suggest mixing it up, walking backwards sometimes, or zigzag steps to work different muscles.
Interesting. What else?
Bike riding is another great one. Excellent cardio, and it can be a really nice way to get outside, maybe even be social.
Yeah, fresh air is amazing postpartum.
Totally. Swimming and water aerobics are also fantastic. Very low impact, so it's easy on the joints, really supportive. Great for building back strength and energy.
And maybe even parent-baby swim classes for some bonding time.
Exactly. A fun option. And then, of course, there's yoga.
Yes, yoga always comes up. What specific things did they highlight?
They mentioned a few core practices. First, just basic breath work that deep diaphragmatic breathing. You can do it anywhere.
Right, just focusing on the breath.
Yeah. It's great for calming the nervous system, reducing stress, and it gently engages your deep core muscles. They also suggest adding Kegel exercises consciously on the exhale.
Ah, Kegels. For the pelvic floor.
Yep, strengthening that pelvic floor is so, so
That
important.
makes just...
They also describe some gentle movements you do lying down, like heel slides, leg extensions, different variations there, and double leg lowers.
Okay,
These are all designed to slowly rebuild strength in your abs and legs without straining your back.
got it. So gentle, focused movements. Now, on the flip side, are there exercises that new moms should definitely avoid at first?
Yes, definitely. As we've kind of touched on, steer clear of high-intensity stuff right at the beginning, too much risk of injury or overdoing it.
Right.
And also avoid contact sports or anything with a high risk of falling or impact to your abdomen.
Like what kind of things?
Think soccer, basketball, horseback riding, downhill skiing, basically anything where you might collide with someone or take a tumble. Protecting that healing core and pelvic floor is the priority.
Makes perfect sense.
Right.
So with all these different options, how does a new mom actually put together a plan that works for her?
Omega Pediatrics suggests taking these recommended exercises and just mixing and matching based on how you feel, your energy levels, where you are in recovery.
So combining things.
Yeah, combining low and moderate intensity activities through the week. They even suggest writing your plan down or using an app or tracker.
Oh, having it written down could really help with sticking to it.
It can. That visual reminder helps with accountability, but, and this is a big but they stress again, listen to your needs. Don't push through pain.
Right.
If you get new headaches, notice more bleeding, or just feel anything unusual during or after exercise, stop and check in with your provider.
Health first.
Yeah.
Always. Okay, last big question. What's a realistic time frame for getting back to, say, pre-pregnancy fitness levels? Is there a magic number?
Yeah, Omega Pediatrics makes it really clear. There's no magic number. It's super individual.
Okay.
While lots of women might feel ready to start integrating more familiar routines around 6 weeks postpartum, that's absolutely not a hard deadline or target for everyone.
So many things influence it, right?
Exactly. How active you were during pregnancy, how consistently you can manage to exercise now, whether you have any professional guidance, it all plays a role.
So the real takeaway is patience and focusing on gradual progress.
Precisely. Don't get fixated on hitting a certain level by a specific date. It's really a journey of rebuilding and just rediscovering your strength after this incredible thing your body has done.
Okay, let's wrap this up then. It really seems clear that postpartum exercise, it's not just good for you, it's totally achievable.
Yeah.
But the key is that mindful, gradual approach.
Right.
Really tuning into your body, listening to its signals, and not being afraid to ask for help or guidance from your doctor or physio if you're unsure about anything.
Absolutely. Start slow, focus on strengthening that core foundation, and, celebrate the small wins along the way.
Definitely celebrate those wins. Every little bit counts.
And as you navigate this whole postpartum time, we really hope you'll think about which of these gentle, effective exercises might feel like a good starting point for you. Remember to prioritize your own well-being. It's so important while you're caring for your little one.
Absolutely. And for much more detail, personalized guidance on postpartum recovery, pediatric care, all of that good stuff, please do check out omegapediatrics.com. They have a ton of great resources there for new parents.
Yes, definitely worth a visit. And hey, if you found this chat helpful today, we'd love it if you'd give this video a like, subscribe to the channel for more conversations like this.
And share it. Share it with other new moms you know who might find it useful too.
Please do.
Thanks so much for tuning in today to Have More Babies.
Yeah, thanks everyone. Until next time.